Okay, so no cat avatar today because I recorded this video once with the avatar on the screen, and then I shut all that down. I shut down you know my VTube app, my VTube software, and I checked the video because I had a feeling. I had a feeling. So I decided to let the video play before I upload it, and sure enough, my mic wasn't on. Okay, that's not true. My mic was on, but for some reason in OBS changed my mic settings so it didn't pick up any of the audio. So I have to record this video again. And I didn't feel like fucking with VTube Studio. So, yeah, no funny cat today. Just, my actual avatar. My Darth Palpo. Fucking Darth Trollface. But anyway, shout out to the Daily Wire. Trump rolls out new project to honor heroes ahead of America's 250th birthday. Now, I'm of two minds on this whole thing. On the one hand, generally speaking, the libertarian leaning part of me does not like the idea of the federal government just kind of spending taxpayer dollars on what's effectively frivolous, endowment of the arts programs and things like that. I think those things, generally speaking, are stupid. A lot of the art, quote unquote, that comes out of it is just like modern art slop, Jackson Pollock knockoffs, and a lot of it doesn't actually produce anything. These people just they get these huge grants, they don't do anything with them. But if the money's already kind of been allocated for this, then if the federal government is going to spend it on art, they may as well spend it on art like this. So, like I said, if they're going to do it, at least do something like this with it. I prefer they didn't do it at all. The Trump administration announced this week an opportunity for American artists to create sculptures of historical figures like George Washington, Patrick Henry, Davy Crockett, and other American heroes in celebration of the nation's 250th birthday. The National Endowment for the Humanities announced on Thursday it would be handing out grants for artists to sculpt one of the 250 American historical figures identified by the Trump administration for placement in a new National Garden of American Heroes. Quote, the garden will provide the public with an opportunity to gain a deeper understanding of how the lives and accomplishments of these individuals have shaped our history and culture. Acting National Endowment for Humanities Chairman Michael McDonald said. Artists who must be American citizens can be awarded up to 3 grants. Well, that's good because I wonder. I'd be curious. I would like to see how much of these endowment grants end up going to artists who aren't citizens, who are just like permanent residents or whatever. Uh, Artists who must be American citizens can be awarded up to 3 grants each of $200,000 for a total of $600,000. The statues will be life-size and made with marble, granite, bronze, brass, or copper. And again, what happens if a person is it going to cost $600,000 seriously to maybe with the marble one, but like the granite, bronze, copper, or brass ones? Would it really could you not do it with why would you get $600,000? You know what I mean? Is it really going to cost that much money to make one of these things? And I get it. It's not literally just for penny, just for the art itself, but it also goes to the artists. The artist, you know, lives off of it, for lack of a better term. It's part their compensation for doing the work is part of the grant, right? But still, how many of these artists could make one of these statues for under $200,000, but are going to get all 3 grants and walk away? And I got a feeling that you'd be able to make one of these statues with less than that. You're telling me that it would cost you making the marble one, maybe, because marble can be expensive, but let's say you do it with fucking bronze, copper, or brass, which is relatively cheap. Is it really going to cost you $200,000 to make one of those? Could you do it with 100,000? I think it's a fair question. The National Endowment of the Humanities will be partnering with the National Endowment for the Arts to spend $34 million on the project. A drop in the bucket, all things considered. Quote, the National Guard will feature Americans who deserve honor, recognition, and lasting tribute because of the battles they won, the ideas they championed, the diseases they cured, the lives they saved, the heights they achieved, and the hope they passed down, the notice of funding says. The notice also says the garden will be a spot for visitors to learn about American history. Depending on where it is, I'd like to go visit this thing when it's done. Quote, it will also be a place where Americans can gather to learn about and celebrate America and the icons who made America what it is today. Visitors to the park will learn the stories of some of the greatest Americans, the notice says. A specific location for the garden has not yet been determined. Trump first proposed the plan in 2020, but it was later canceled by former President Joe Biden. Crooked Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe. He hates America. This is a great project. We're going to get a lot of great statues from a lot of great people, but Joe Biden didn't want it because Joe Biden hates America. Crooked Joe, Sleepy Joe Biden. The list of figures to be honored includes a wide variety of people such as President John Adams, Civil War nurse Clara Barton, inventors, almost said investors, Jesus Christ, inventors Orville and Wilbur Wright, World War II General Douglas MacArthur, astronaut Neil Armstrong, Civil War soldier Joshua Campbell, Pilgrim leader William Bradford, country music artist Johnny Cash, super based, anti-slavery activist Frederick Douglass, founding firebrand Patrick Henry, World War I hero Alvin York, and many others. Yeah, so, again, I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. $34 million, as the meme goes, we got $34 million for statues of dead men, but Flint still doesn't have clean water. Now, to be fair, that meme is kind of dead because I'm pretty sure they got the Flint thing sorted out. And if they haven't, who knows? I could just be dead ass wrong there. But, again, it's just, it doesn't. If the money's already allocated to be granted out to artists anyway, again, you may as well do it for something like this. I would prefer the federal government didn't do it at all. Do you agree with either half of that? Or do you disagree with either half of that? I don't know. Just let me know in the comments and like the video. And hit the subscribe button. And, follow all of my links and sub to all my other channels. And follow me on X. Try to build a community here. Help me do that. Be a part of my empire. All right? Throw me a bone, you sons of bitches.